Security update for you. SSI, SSDI, retirement benefits. This is going to affect millions potentially. And I wanted to make sure I just quickly got this out to the community. Not sure how many of you guys are on right now, but like I said, definitely wanted to get this message out to you guys. Drop me some comments down below. Let me know if you guys can hear me out there. Not really sure what the sound is like on this video. See if we get any comments coming in. Franklin, thank you, sir. Erica says it's okay. Yeah, guys, got a big Social Security update. We got the Social Security 2100 reform. Hearing more and more about that, but not enough action. And I think that's the biggest issue that most Americans have with it. It's that, there's so much talk about Social Security needing reform, needing these updates, but what are they doing about it, right? And the good thing is we have been seeing a lot more momentum lately. We're seeing more and more action from Sherrod Brown, Senator Bernie Sanders, as well as many others that are supporting these new bills. But something recently has been cropping up, and it's a little bit concerning. So just imagine waking up one morning and getting a letter out of the blue, right? So you get this letter, and it basically says you owe a ton of money. And it might be thousands of dollars. It might even be, hundreds of thousands of dollars that you owe to the Social Security department. So just imagine, you think it's a check from the Social Security department, but it's not a check. It's not your COLA update. It's a bill from the Social Security Administration. Now, by the way, I just wanted to just quickly jump in the comments and just thank everybody. Erica for confirming that you can hear me. Gianna Sizemore, Franklin Around, Peaches McDowell, appreciate you. Todd Perrin, Deborah Kelly, Susie Watkins, thank you so much, guys. And if you could just drop a quick like in the comments so we can get this video pushed out to even more people, because people need to hear what's going on out here. They're not sharing this information on mainstream media, and I think that's why you guys really appreciate the fact that I give you guys the real information. But so imagine you get this letter from Social Security, no explanation, no warning, just like a 30-day deadline. So this is what happened to Mary in particular, but it's happening to a lot of people. But Mary in particular shared this information with me, and this kind of situation is causing chaos in a lot of people's lives. So today we got a lot to talk about. We're going to go ahead and dig into this whole Social Security mess. We're also going to be discussing some other important things, such as basically people who are on a tight budget. We've also got tips and money saving information I want to share with you guys. There may even be some opportunities I'm going to share with you today regarding getting some free stuff. Plus, there's also news about a program that can give you up to $18,000, which I think a lot of people could potentially benefit from. So definitely wanted to make sure to share that information with you guys. Let me know if that sounds interesting to you. Let me know if potentially getting $18,000 would be helpful in your lives today. Drop me some comments, drop me some likes, guys. Let me know if you guys are good with this information I'm going to be sharing with you. And also let me know if you want more information, because I've been hearing more people talking about how hours are getting cut from their jobs. They're not getting the raises that they're looking for. They're looking for different options, opportunities, and maybe don't necessarily know the right way to go, right? So more and more people have been asking me, hey, there's no opportunities where I'm at. Do you have any small business opportunities for me? Are there any side hustle businesses that I could start from home that maybe allow me to work from home and not have to travel and commute, especially if the Rona ends up coming back around? I'd like the ability to be able to work from home and have more control over my income so that I could have a surplus of cash and money to be able to invest and, help my family get out of this. So if this sounds like you, definitely hit me up in the comment section down below. If you guys are looking for more small business, side hustle opportunities that could support you and your family, and possibly even hire your kids, because I've met a lot of people who end up hiring their kids. But so let's get back into, let's not get too sidetracked, right? So let's go ahead and dig into this Social Security mess. And so basically, let's go back to Mary's situation, right? So she's a regular person from Springfield, and she's going about her life. And she's basically been, getting Social Security checks for like 15 years. She's getting around $900 a month. I don't have her exact message up in front of me. But then out of the blue, she gets this letter saying that she had to pay back a whopping $121,000 in just 30 days. Now, that's just wild when you think about it. Can you imagine? You open your letter from the Social Security Administration and you think it's like a check. But instead of a check, it's a notification telling you that you owe them, it's a bill. So anyway, she gets a bill for $121,000 that is supposed to be paid back in just 30 days. Like, how would you feel? Like, how do you even react to something like that, right? So anyway, what would you do? Would you call your mom? Would you call your best friend? Would you ask your job for a loan for the different? I mean, like what would you do in that situation? Would you just tell the Social Security Administration to go jump in the nearest lake? So anyway, of course, Mary freaked out. She ended up selling her house, her car, in a hurry. She emptied out her bank account, and just to make sure that they couldn't take it from her. And she tried to figure out how to deal with this huge debt. Now, when I first heard these stories, I was hoping it was like some kind of a scam, some kind of a mistake, because we get a lot of scammers in the comments. You guys see the kind of crap we get in the comments sometimes, right? And they're trying to get you to invest in Bitcoin, invest in my broker, who made me millions of dollars. Like stay away from those scammers. They're always pushing this cryptocurrency, and I'm not saying like cryptocurrency is a scam, but I'm just saying like there's a lot of scammers that leverage cryptocurrency because not a lot of people really understand it. So I was getting comments in previous videos, often people saying how I got a bill from Social Security, and they might receive SSI or SSDI, and Social Security Department sending them a check or sending them a letter in the mail telling them that they've been overpaid. Now, I don't know how many of you guys watching the show right now have received anything like that. Judith Gray says, I'm 81 years old, living in Mexico for 2 years. I know the scams. Wow. Well, you're a sharp 81-year-old, Judith, and I appreciate your comment. So anyway, kind of getting back to it, a lot of people are receiving these letters and they're demanding these huge repayments. And it's estimated that hundreds of thousands, if not millions of people are potentially dealing with these overpayments from the Social Security Administration. So here's the kicker, it's usually not even your fault, and based on the letters that I've actually received from a lot of people, the letters and comments, the messages, people have actually reached out to Social Security to let them know, hey, you're overpaying me, because they don't know what the repercussions of that overpayment could be. So they're in good faith reaching out to Social Security, letting them know, and they're not making the correction. So think about it. If the Social Security Administration overpaid you, I don't know, $200 a month, $2,400 a year for 10 years, over the course of 10 years, that would be $24,000 extra that they've overpaid you, theoretically, right? Now, will the Social Security Administration want that $24,000 back? More than likely. But also with the amount of inflation that we've been experiencing over the last several years, they probably want 10 years worth of inflated dollars back. So instead of $24,000, they might want $50,000 back from you, even though you told them on day one that you guys are overpaying me. Anyway, I digress, right? So basically, even if Social Security people made the mistake, you might still actually have to pay up. So Mary, she pretty much did everything right. She told them about her workers' comp payments, because of course they want to know all about your assets. They want to know all about your different income sources, how much money you're making. Do you have a business? Do you have alimony checks coming in? Do you have annuities? How much is your annuity paying you in passive income? Do you have mutual funds, ETFs, index funds, real estate investment trusts paying you? They want to know, do you have a part-time job? Are you driving for Lyft or Uber? Like, where's your income coming from? We want to know how much you're getting. We want to know your total net worth. So anyway, Mary, she told them all about her workers' comp payments, but apparently there was some kind of glitch in their system and they didn't catch it, even though she told them about the glitch, right? So she got more money than she should have for a very long time. Now, at this point, they pretty much want all their money back. And unfortunately, she's not alone in this mess. Now, we got 282 people in here, almost 300 people watching. We don't have enough likes. Y'all better show some love on that like button. Throw some likes in there for me if you guys are enjoying the content and the information that I'm sharing with you guys. But so another person, let's just go ahead and call her Jenny. She got hit with a $27,000 bill. $27,000. By the way, if you guys are not subscribed and you like content like this, make sure you're subscribed to the channel, and also make sure you're still subscribed if you thought you subscribed, because I've been getting more and more messages from people saying, "Hey Ron, I don't know why I'm not getting notifications for your videos. I thought I was subscribed. Somehow I got unsubscribed and I'm not getting notifications." So just double check that. I don't know what's up with that. A lot of you guys have let me know, but I personally can't fix it. I've reported the issue, and the powers that be are hopefully working on it. So anyway, so let's just call this other person Jenny, right? So she got hit with a $27,000 bill. She's fighting it, and while she's doing that, she's still getting her monthly Social Security checks. But here's the thing, guys: if she loses the fight, it's going to take her almost like 25 years to pay all this money back. Like, seriously? And she didn't even know anything was wrong. Her mom gave her a $4,000 life insurance policy. And, that's good, responsible financial planning on her mom's behalf to invest in an insurance policy. And she didn't even know it had a cash value. So I don't know how much you guys know about insurance, life insurance policies, but you got term life insurance policies, whole life insurance policies, and these other types of insurance policies that kind of like they invest your premiums, and you get a guaranteed amount of money for a set period of time and whatnot, and they can build cash value. So anyway, she apparently had one of these types of insurance policies that had some cash value associated with it. And evidently that cash value that her mom, the cash value that was associated with the insurance policy that her mom had for her put her over the asset limits for some programs. And so now she has to pay. Like, this is messed up. They want you to be responsible, but then when you're responsible, they punish you for it. Like, the system is rigged. The system's broken. And so according to the Office of Inspector General, there's like $21 billion in Social Security overpayments for retirees, even people who have retired early, people who have retired after the full retirement age. So there's $21 billion in overpayments that have not been paid back yet. Now, obviously, Social Security needs reform. So I guess they started to reform the part where they realize, hey, we're overpaying people. Let's start coming after the people who already can't afford it. Like, how dumb is that? So Social Security folks, they're not going to tell us exactly how many people are affected. But if you look at the number, $21 billion, people aren't getting millions of dollars each. But even if they were getting millions of dollars each, if every person out of the $21 billion that's missing owed $1 million each, that's already millions of people right there. So we know millions of people are affected. But I'm not hearing anything from like local news outlets. They're not confirming that. So I kind of wonder why they're holding back or not even covering that. Like you would think that they would cover that. Anyway, so moving on. So here's the thing, guys. According to Angela, who's a former claims specialist, she says, and this is according to Angela, she said that Social Security folks just don't have enough staff. Didn't they just give the IRS like $80 billion to hire 87,000 new agents? And what about the what about the infrastructure? No, what about the Inflation Relief Act? Remember that? It's supposed to reduce inflation, address inflation. Well, evidently, it's not the money, the funds is not going where it needs to go. It's not going where it needs to go. And this is a huge problem. This is a huge problem. So, and hit me up in the comments down below if I'm making sense here. Rosalind Johnson, hello for the first time, catching you live. but I always watch your videos. I appreciate that, Rosalind Johnson. Erica B, stay poor. Yeah. So Jules Crazy Bus Life says, what I've done is downsize everything I own. And I don't blame you for doing that. I don't blame you for doing that, Jules. But the thing is think about it. There's only so much you can cut. There's going to be a point where you can't cut anymore. And then what? So anyway, yeah, so there's just not enough people, according to Angela, there's not enough people to look at these cases. And even when they do find a problem, there's not enough people to send out the letters. What are they, handwriting these letters? What are they doing? You're telling me they don't have computers there? They can't just collect a list of all the people who need to get a letter, who qualify or who should be receiving a letter, batch send out all of these letters. Heck, use AI, for example. Use artificial intelligence to help the Social Security Department get all of the necessary communications out to the people. They shouldn't be handwriting letters out there. Anyway, so they're blaming the whole issue on not enough staffing for Social Security, for SSI people, right? Like for Social Security beneficiaries who've been paying into the system since the beginning of time when they first developed FIRE and the wheel. Anyway, so, these big balances, they end up piling up before people even know it, before they even realize that they owe anything. And, when you call them, good luck getting in contact. Have you ever tried to call the Social Security Department? That's because the people who answer the phones at Social Security Department, they're short staffed too. So, yeah. Darlene Ricotta, thanks, Ron, for watching out for us and bringing us important information. I appreciate you, Darlene. I'm doing my best out here. So if you happen to get a letter like this demanding Social Security repayments for any kind of overpayment, you do have some options. Probably not the best option, but you do have some options. So number one, you can set up a repayment plan. You can appeal their decision, which is basically kind of like getting them to recheck their math. And I would definitely strongly consider that option. Or you can ask for a waiver if you can't afford to repay. So I would probably definitely sit down with a Social Security specialist and strategize with them. I'm not a Social Security specialist, but at least you have an idea of what some of your options are. This list is not all inclusive. Now, apparently there's this form SSA 632 to be able to request that waiver. So you might want to look into that if you guys are facing any kind of issues like that. Matter of fact, comment down below if you have received a letter from Social Security saying that you owe money, or if you happen to know someone else who has. Because this is a big, serious issue. And just think about it. How many people have life insurance policies in America? Millions of people. So how many people could possibly be listed as a beneficiary to a life insurance policy, and then somebody passes, and then all of a sudden they receive the assets, the payout from a Social Security, or excuse me, from a life insurance payout or settlement. I don't really know what the term is for that. And then all of a sudden they're put over this limit for how much assets you can have before Social Security needs to cut back on how much they're paying out to you. I guess the bottom line is there's a number of people who could possibly fall into this situation, and it's a little concerning. Jules Crazy Bus Life said in 2021, I bought a gutted Ford She bought a gutted Ford E350. I usually think F350, like the trucks, but I think the E350 is like a van. So anyway, she said in 2021, she bought a gutted Ford E350 Super Duty shuttle bus. Okay, if I just read her whole comment, I'd know what she's talking about. My bad, Julie. My intention was to build a tiny home in it, but I had to move sooner than I thought. So I turned it into a micro cottage and moved into it July of 2022. Interesting. So how's that life living? How's that life for you, living in the converted E350 Ford Super Duty? I'd love to hear how that is working out for you. So anyway, this form SSA 632, evidently it's supposed to allow you to request a waiver. Might want to look into that, guys. I know it's all pretty confusing. very stressful. So if you need any help with the paperwork or, what to do, you might want to try to reach out to local legal aid because it's usually free, or the area agency on aging, maybe even AARP. There might be some easier ways to get a hold of them compared to reaching out to the Social Security folks. So, yeah. But in a nutshell, just remember these three things, guys. These repayment letters, they're real and they're serious and they should not be ignored. You don't want to throw them away. You don't want to not open the letter by accident. I'm just saying, it's very serious. So, you may have to, even if it's not your mistake, you could still end up being on the hook and have to repay it. But there are ways to fight this. So I just want you guys to know about that. So, but let's go ahead and switch gears just a little bit into something a little bit more positive, right? Did you guys know that the Supplemental Security Income, the Social Security Program, SSI, formerly known as SSI, that program has not been updated in like 40 years. The program hasn't been updated in almost longer than I've been alive. So, needless to say, they need to update this freaking thing, right? So, it's been a long time. But Senators Bernie Sanders, Sarah, and Mike, they reintroduced this new bill called the SSI Boost Act. So the goal behind this act is to raise the amount of money that you can have and actually still be able to get SSI benefits. But with this new act, those limits would go up to like $10,000 for one person and $20,000 for a couple. Plus, they'll adjust these limits for inflation so that they stay relevant. Now, this could make life a whole lot easier for folks. Now, are they going to make this thing retroactive? So, since this program hasn't been updated in like 40 years, don't you think that they should make it retroactive so people who did get a bill can like not be responsible for having to repay all this money that really they shouldn't have had to pay for in the beginning? I mean, I'm just thinking out loud here. Let's just play fair. I know the game's rigged, and I know they rigged it, but let's just give the impression that the game is fair. Now, if you guys think that this change is a good idea, reach out to your senators. Let them know that you do support the SSI Boost Act. They're looking for your vote, so maybe your voice can actually make a difference in making this happen, at least before the election. So, Amira Deshawn says there's 334 people watching now. Thumbs up. I appreciate that. Yeah, let's get some more thumbs up in here. Show some love. So I'm just trying to share some information that I think that you guys would find helpful. So got a little bit more information I do want to share with you guys. And it's actually another big issue that we all need to be concerned about. So child poverty rates here in the United States, they pretty much doubled in 2022. And obviously, evidently, this is not good news at all. Experts are saying that it happened because a program that was previously helping families ended in December of 2021. And you guys probably remember this. It lowered child poverty by like 40% in 2021, but then it stopped. Child poverty ended up shooting back up, and they were bragging about how great this program was and all the different benefits. But the moment they stopped it, I think it was the child tax credits, and they were sending checks out to families like every month, several $100s. Anyway, there were efforts to keep this program going, but it didn't work out. And obviously this is heartbreaking because, there was a solution in play and we kind of let it slip away. Now, would it have been a permanent solution? That remains to be seen. I don't know if the program was in place long enough to really be able to say, was it a long-term solution or not? But anyway, let's take a break from all this serious stuff and let's talk about something a little bit more positive, right? If you have a kid in your life that's struggling with algebra, maybe college applications, Uptrive might actually be able to help. So if you guys haven't heard about that one, you might want to take a look at that program. And we've also discussed like 8 different class action settlements with deadlines coming up. And if you've received unwanted text messages, had fees deducted from your net spend card, or maybe even used Instagram in certain areas, you might be able to claim some money. Now, the deadlines are coming up, so don't wait to check it out because once the money's gone, it's gone, right? And for those of you guys, with dreams of starting or even growing your business, and I know we talked about that briefly earlier in this video, but I get I get a remarkable amount of people reaching out to me. Hey, Ron, how do I start a business? What home-based businesses can I start in 2023? I get this question all the time. How do you do it? Are there businesses that I can start with little to no money to get started and then reinvest those profits back into my business to grow my revenues and profit margins? Yes, yes, and yes. The answer is yes. So in short, the answer is yes. There's plenty of opportunities. And thankfully with ChatGPT and AI and lots of these other platforms and technologies that a lot of people are scared about, they're actually creating some opportunities for some, actually for many. I say for some because a lot of people don't look into them. So it's very, very few people look into them. So there's not a lot of people taking advantage of them. That's ultimately what I'm meaning to say. So, but here's another thing. Here's a $1,500 grant from Atomic Grants for people who are over 21 with ideas to make the world a better place. The deadline for this particular grant is September 22nd. So you can actually apply today and actually ultimately have a chance of getting access to this grant. So you got about 8 more hours to the close of business today, or to the close of the 22nd. So if you're a small business owner, the Skip Growth Grant could also be your ticket. This one's offering $5,000 to be able to help you grow your business. And the deadline is September 30th. So you got more time on that one. Don't miss out on that money. Plus, if you guys happen to be short on time, there's a real quick $5,000 grant from Index. Only takes 15 minutes to be able to apply for this grant. And, I didn't believe in grants until my mom actually got a grant. She ended up getting a grant to basically do some home renovations. And I couldn't believe it. It was it was a substantial amount of money that she ended up getting. And next thing I know, it took 6 months, but who cares? It was free money that she didn't have to pay back as long as she stayed in the house for a certain period of time after the work was completed. They didn't even ask for the money back. I was blown away. And that single situation, that single event, that single experience made me actually believe, hey, these grants are real. So yeah, she only had to stay in the house for 5 years, but it was we were planning on staying in the house anyway. So that was no big commitment from our behalf. Yeah, they replaced all sorts of stuff in the house: carpet, HVAC systems. The outside siding was coming apart on the house. They replaced the deck. The deck was falling apart in the back of the house. It was dangerous to be on that deck. You ever go out on a deck? I don't know if you've ever been on a 2-story deck and you look down and it's man, that's a long way down. Imagine if that deck were to fall down and you were on it. Not a good look. Anyway, so if you're short on time, there's this quick $5,000 grant from Index. Only takes about 15 minutes to apply for it. And it's perfect if you're always on the go, So September 30th is the deadline for that one. And here's something big for the ladies. All the single ladies. No, I'm just kidding. The Fearless Drivers Grant Contest is offering a whopping $20,000 to 4 Black women who own businesses. The deadline for this one is September 30th. So just think about what you could do with $20,000 for your business. $20,000. I'm pretty sure that can go a long way. And then, of course, there's the firefighters that were affected by the recent Maui wildfires. Yeah, that situation's still going on. Is it a big land grab? Was this planned? Did the green light have anything to do with the starting of the fires? Did the blue tarps on the roofs help certain properties to not actually catch fire because they were quote unquote blue? Not really sure how that happened, or, information's still coming out. Investigations are still taking place. But regarding the firefighters that were affected by the recent wildfires in Maui, they can get up to $7,100 from the Live Like Trey Foundation. and the deadline for this program is still going on, and they have until November 4th for this. So make sure you spread the word on that particular program if you happen to know anyone who's affected by the Lahaina Maui wildfires. The deadline for that one is November 4th. That's $7,100. That's a fair amount of that's not chump change in my opinion. I mean, so even though Congress has its hands full, there are still ways that you can actually sort out your finances. So don't forget to claim your LIHWAP benefits if you haven't already. This particular program helps people with their water bills, and it's closing at the end of December. So you do have time for that. Go ahead and just Google that, LIHWAP. I'll do my best to try to remember to leave some of this information in the comment section down below. I know I'm covering a lot of stuff, but yeah, so there's a lot of money still available, and I just don't want you guys to miss out on that. So in a nutshell, there's a lot of resources. There's lots of opportunities available for you guys to be able to try to navigate these challenges. Patricia Bailey says, I can't get the $20,000 grant. I'm on SSI, LOL. Oh my God. It's like, yo, is it even worth, like, is SSI even worth it? It's like, anyway, man. So in a nutshell, there's plenty of resources and opportunities available to you guys to try to help you guys navigate through these challenging times. Feel free to explore them. Take advantage of, what happens to suit your situation. Appreciate you guys hanging out with me today. If you haven't already, drop a like for the video. Also consider subscribing to the channel. And I'm going to bring you guys the next update as soon as I can. Y'all be safe.